Hello there, welcome to part 4 of this part series. You can find all the parts for this part series on my website www.lovelightfamily.com. All the parts for all the part series that I've done are on, you go in the categories, bottom of the categories on the left hand side. The bottom of the categories is a page called part series page, and so all the different part series that I've done are there. I also have my own breathing self-development program that I'm going to be sharing, and when I do, it will be on there, on the part series page. But into this talk and the breathing that I do, it's related to the topic. All started from the spiritual awakening. I'm 35 now, and at the age of 24 I had an unexpected spiritual awakening. The only one in my apparent blood family to have any such experience. And does that make me better than anyone? No. But it means that I'm not going to say chosen or special, but because I had enough one day and I went within myself. So I guess you could say more courageous. You see? And that's all it is. It's just that willingness to go within. That's all I did. I sat down one morning and I had enough. But I meant it with everything. And it was like I opened up a doorway. Now I've heard religious people say that you just make the decision, to go within yourself, and then they call it the Lord will lead you the rest of the way. And that's how it's been. So, that's all you've got to do. You just got to make that initial decision, but you've got to mean it. The spiritual powers know if you're lying or if it's genuine. And that's how it all started. And then I got this massive kundalini / spiritual awakening. I was rebirthed. And I don't mean, metaphorically, I mean literally. I was receiving downloads, letting me know what was happening, why it was happening. I was taken back to the womb. And I was getting downloads. First time I ever got... It was a bit like the Ghost movie when Whoopi Goldberg all of a sudden is like hearing spirits all of a sudden. It was a bit like that. It was a shock. And the rebirth lasted for 2 weeks. And then I went on an inner healing path. And then the tantric, the kundalini thing went away. And then I went on an inner healing path. And the reason that kundalini, you get the kundalini awakening, but that's to show you what you can have. What kundalini actually is, once you align with it, is a thing called tantric awareness. Nirvana, tantric awareness. And that is, you have a part of you that is orgasmic. And this energy, the best way to tap into it is via the heart. Right? In the heart energy, that is where your loved ones are in the spirit world. If someone is low vibrational, they're telling you they're contacting spirits, it's not good spirits. The real genuine spirits are accessed via the heart. Like in this picture, it's related to this picture. You see all the orbs, and that was, I think, a few years before my spiritual awakening. My mum does psychic and tarot and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, none of the family had a spiritual awakening. Because I remember at the time, and she didn't know what was happening to me. And this is very common. There's a lot of people on the internet, this happens to them, and their family hasn't had it, and then the family are resentful or insecure or whatever because they feel that you're better than them, because they haven't had your experience, you see. And what's wrong with them is they didn't get the awakening like you. That's if you're going through that. But back into the topic in hand. Yeah, so that's what it was. That's what it was. This big unexpected awake. Didn't know it was going to happen when it did, so it was a shock. And ever since then, it's been an inner healing path. You see, and the breathing I was mentioning earlier, that came as well. I started to get downloads in this breathing, this healing program that I've got. It's not mine, so I won't actually be charging any money. But if anyone wants to give me any money, if you want to give a donation, you can. I'm on Patreon. I'm also on Cash App. Cash App hashtag is # Love Light Family 1111, and there's no capitals. And if you want to, you know. But that's what it was. It's been an inner healing path. The breathing exercise thing, it was, it took me about 10 years to put it all together. And I only put it all together this year. And so I want to work with it for about a year, at least, before I start sharing it. And it's a great thing. It's but that'll be coming in the future. But back to this talk, the kundalini spiritual awakening. But that's how it was. I first got this massive awakening, and then all of a sudden, I wouldn't say I was hearing voices or anything. It's like downloads, which is like thought forms coming in. Which is just coming from higher levels of consciousness. You see, that's all everything is. It's you've got consciousness at different levels, and it's interacting. It's just one field, you see? It's one field. And everything is energy and consciousness in that field. And it's not separate. It's maybe taking different experiences. And see, regarding the kundalini and that, you have to go through a healing path, you see? Yeah, I was shown what I could have, but then I had to go through this inner healing path. And that's what you return to. And anyone that tells you that you're not your, or that tells you that you are your body, no, you're not your body. I found that out. It's a situation where the body is your car, right? But you're the driver in the car. What happens when you go out of that slower car into like a Porsche? It goes faster, right? And that's kind of what's happening in spiritual ascension or awakening. You're entering into you're going into a different car, right? And when you tap into the tantric awareness, that's a more faster vehicle, you see? But the difference between a car and this is that this is energy and it's not separate. It only appears separate. But you can only ever have one infinity, you see? And that's what oneness really is. It's the one infinity that is. Everything would have had to start from absolute nothing. And nothingness is infinity, and you can only ever have one infinity. So that's really what oneness is. And that everything is just that one infinity. And so that you're not just this body, it's like when you realize that, everything becomes energy and one infinite field, and so you're not the separation starts to melt away. You see, the divide starts to just fall away in that, and then the ego starts to die away of who you thought you were. And what's happening is you're tapping into higher levels of who you are, higher levels of self, of consciousness. You're tapping ultimately into the source. And like I've said before, the quickest way is the heart. And that's how this awakening manifested. It came from a moment of me sitting down being heart-based for a moment, and it triggered off this awakening. And since then I get new spiritual awakenings all the time. But it's so easy. All you've got to do is do what I done, just mean it. Have enough of it all. I didn't know what a spiritual awakening was then. I didn't know what was happening. And, I did do drugs when I was younger, but there was no drugs involved in this situation. But this was more powerful and is more powerful than any drug I ever took. And stronger. But maybe certain drugs are a reminder of this, you see. And that's a problem. You can't be having that. But the awakening, mass awakening cannot be stopped, you see. It's already happening. Around the whole planet, people from all different planets and backgrounds are going through similar experiences to this. And the ones that are awakening, they are the teachers. They are taking us into the new earth. You see? And so what's happening on the planet is there's an ascension thing going on for people that are on this path. And so the energy is changing, therefore, it's like Dolores Cannon said that once these people start ascending or awakening, she said that it would make people unwell. It's because the energy is, if you've got like tantric energy and an old person that's frail, it will affect them in a negative way. That's why this thing has to be done in stages, you see. That's why it makes sense that 144,000 would get it first, because you've got to do this in stages. If you did it all at once, it would be too much, and it would be even worse than it is now. And so, yeah, so it's normal that you would have illness because of the energy. And there's a lot of stuff happening on the planet emotionally as well. But it's just because of the evolution that's taken place. And the teachers, it's almost like the people that have had the spiritual awakenings, they are like the new therapists. And this new degree, you don't actually have to go to a college and get a fake diploma. You just have to go within your heart and tap into that power within you. You see, and it's the one thing they can't box. It's the one thing they can't say, oh, you need to do this course to get it. No, it's within you. I haven't got any degrees or diplomas, but I was good enough to go within myself, which anyone can do. You just got to be willing to do it. But I think you've got to be done with the externals. You have to be done with everything outside of yourself to do that, you see. But some people are faced with that and they choose to commit suicide, you see. So, but you've got to be courageous enough to like I decided to go within. That's what you've got to do. And then heaven is yours. And like I said earlier, where your loved ones are in the spirit world, the heaven that people talk about, that's the heart. The heart is the pathway to the awakening and everything you could ever want. And I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, talks, news, songs, much more, all my new talks are at the top of my homepage. And so just go on my website, which is www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.